Welcome to the Self Love Summit, Design Your Empowered Life. I'm Jerry Cates, your host on this journey. Today, I want to introduce to you Elma Zevnik. She's a seasoned leader with more than 20 years of experience guiding people, teams, and organizations. With her extensive background in leadership and management, she co founded Insightful 3, a company dedicated to helping organizations and individuals transform and reconnect with their authentic flow of life. In addition to her leadership expertise, Elma is a facilitator of family and organizational constellations and a therapist trained in the diagnostic of karma method. Her unique approach combines energy awareness, systemic wisdom, and practical action. She believes that true growth and self love arise when we recognize ourselves not only as individuals, but also as part of larger systems such as family, teams, and organizations. Elma is known for creating safe and powerful spaces where participants can uncover the dynamics that shape their lives, release what no longer serves them, and step into greater clarity and freedom. Clients describe her as direct yet deeply compassionate, blending grounded professionalism with inspiration. She lives in Slovenia and works internationally. She is co creating a world where people live meaningful lives, share love, learn and grow, and work on what truly matters. Today's conversation is titled Where Self Love Begins, the System Behind Flow of Love. And welcome, Elma. Welcome.
Thank you, Jerry, for
So
having
glad
me.
to have you. So glad. So tell me a little bit about who you are and why this work matters to you.
As you already explained in this introduction, I am the leader. That would be the first thing I will say about me. But I'm also the person very interested in transformation and in energies. So, as you already said, I found myself in helping leaders mainly. So it's people, individuals, and also organizations to transform. And I like to say it to reconnect with authentic flow of life. And why am I saying that? Because I really saw on numerous occasions that the real success only happens when we reconnect with that flow. And then that is actually the beginning of some meaningful life that we are then allowing life really to be fully possible.
And as you're speaking, I'm thinking it's a self-love summit, and the common theme is reconnecting with yourself. It's beginning of it. It is reconnecting with yourself. So powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What was the turning point for you?
Well, the I would say turning point for me was that for 2 decades I was working in the normal business environments, usual ones, and I was always having some dreams how the organizations can be differently organized and working differently, where people all will really love what they work on, share the common values, and the things would be different than they are usually when we are going to work. And I was really lucky, or yeah, I can say that I was lucky and privileged that I had the opportunity 5 years ago that I've joined one organization where the founders were very conscious about the energy flows. So for years, I was working in the environment that showed me that my ideas and my dreams from 2 decades ago are not just some wishful thinking and not just dreams, but that even in reality, it is possible to have teams where people are co creating, when there are people who are passionate, that we are all together because we want to reach certain purpose that we all share. And it was really the experience that changed my way of thinking, my way of being, actually. And yes, it put a big sign on what am I doing today. Yeah, it was really important. You are saying turning point, yes, uh, because it was showing me that, of course, in all organizations, in all systems, we are having certain issues, we are having certain problems, but it showed me that uh, real success and a lot of engagement and a lot of joy and happiness can be produced even while we are working. So that was the reason that 2 years ago uh, I started my own company with my partner, and we are doing today what we are doing, really reconnecting individuals again with themselves, with their flow, and the similar in the organization, in the organizations, yes.
What a framework to be a co-creator. What a framework. That's just really powerful. Um, the real struggle, let's talk about the real struggle. So many people are carrying heavy loads right now. From your perspective, what's the biggest block or lie holding them back?
Woohoo! This is a very powerful question. So, yes, I could answer it on so many ways, but in this essence of what am I doing today, I can say that one of the issues is, of course, that we as a people, are thinking individually, and we are behaving like we are separate from the rest. But we are never separated, actually. We are always the part of the bigger systems that are around us. And for example, our first system that we ever entered is our family system. And even if we are today not having any contacts with any of our family members, and even if all our family members maybe passed away and we are the only one here, still our family system has a huge influence on us. And our emotions, what we are feeling. One research showed up that actually the roots of what we feel today can go as far as 7 generations back. So our family system really define us much more than we are thinking. And we think that we are lonely, that we are just one individual, and we think that a lot of our decisions are just ours. But actually, a lot of our decisions, a lot of our behaviors, a lot of our patterns, a lot of our beliefs are systemic, coming from mainly from our family system. Similar things is happening in the organizations where leaders, again, individually are thinking that they will lead the organization, they will lead the system, they will do whatever it needs, and they will be on the top of it. But that's not true. That's illusion because we are just part of the system. Even as a leader, I'm just a part of it. I cannot be above it because system is bigger. And we have a lot of systems, family, organization, uh, mm, country is also its own system, cultures, the biggest system, nature. We are all part of it. And while we are always thinking just individually, we are sometimes really putting heavy loads on ourselves because we do not trust the system, we do not trust the other people around, or we are not aware that they are there, or we are not aware how the system works, and so on. And since this summit is about self love, I would also say a bit about the blocks that I'm sensing here. And this is that we think, or actually, we believe that self love is about all those individual practices. There are numerous practices how we can show ourselves that we love ourselves. We can set healthy boundaries. We can be mindful and do a lot of things on our. We can also take self-care and nourishing of our body. Having I don't know, positive mindset and a lot of things that we can put in our daily practice. And all those techniques, all those methods, that's all working. That is all bringing results, of course. But what we are forgetting is that self-love is systemic. What does it mean? That means that for a certain person, it would be hard to feel how it is to love themselves. They can try, but they will feel strange because if the person didn't receive enough love, enough care, enough nourishment in the early childhood from their mother, giving that love today to yourself, it feels like okay, but it also feels a little bit like fake because there is nothing that you can connect that to. So, yes, I also have this experience that my relationship with my mother was not the ideal one. And in my work with a lot of people, I found out that there are very, very, very rare cases where someone has ideal family. So we all have some entanglements and but still it's important to know that if we didn't really felt in that early moment rejection, exclusion, or that if the circumstances in our family were, let's say, normal, then we are okay with this self-love. But there are cases where people are not okay from the systemic reasons. They are trying, they are doing things, but they then can say, well, loving yourself is such a huge effort because they are putting effort into that and they are trying.
You're talking about the mother. I was
Mhm.
23 when I had my son, and I'm in the hospital, and I realized looking into his beautiful face that up until that point, I thought there was something wrong with me because my mother didn't love me. We didn't get along.
Mm.
But and I can see how that forged that disconnection with
Yes,
myself.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
There is a total disconnection. Yes.
Um, you talked a little bit about the mother and the beginning of self-love.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, but you're right. I think you're so right. Our first experience is with our mother.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I can even talk more about the mother because mother is really very, very important. Um, she is giving life to us. So in the systemic work, mother represents the life. People that have problems with accepting their life usually have also problem in the relationship with their mother. So mother is almost equal life. Mother is also almost equal body because we came out from her body. Our body was coming out from her own belly. And also, she was the first one that was taking care, that was nourishing, that was touching our body. So if we have issues with our body or certain parts of our body, or we have issues with acceptance of ourselves, that's again our relationship toward our mother. Mother is, yeah, a very huge importance mother has in the systemic work. It's life, it's body. It is, as you said, our first intimate relationship. And usually people are coming to the constellations saying, oh, I have a problem with the partner, my partner is like that, and it's almost the same or even worse than it was with the previous one, and so on. And I usually say, okay, you have issue with intimate relationships, you have issue with connectivity, with the trust. So let's go to the first intimate relationship. And usually people are thinking that it's the first intimate part. And I say, no, 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 let's go to mother. And then usually reaction is, well, I'm talking about my intimates, my partnership relationships. Why we are now need to talk about my mother? I don't want to talk about my mother. And then I'm usually saying, yes, the reason that you don't want to talk about your mother is creating all this because um, with mother, we are creating actually the template, how we behave with ourselves. How much do we accept ourselves, our body? How much we accept life? How much, and the ways how we are taking care of us, we are taking from our mother. And also, I will add one more thing, which is also very important, that success, because I'm today working with a lot of successful people. And there is one sentence when I say that they are looking at me very strangely. And I always say, the success has the face of your mother. So if we want to talk about successful people, then we need to first go and do some work on the relationship with the mother. And that work can be done even if our mother passed away, even if you were never in contact with your mother. No matter. You can do your own work and your own healing. And I really advise everyone to work on this issue if they have. There are lucky people that have great relationship with their mother. They are usually not having any problems with their body, with their life, and they are successful. That's great. And also for the new mothers, this can be of interest that they really understand how important the role of a mother is for the child. Yeah.
In my experience, I totally agree. It aligns with my experience of hypnotherapy and coaching, and it always goes back to that first time when you felt that way, littler. That's what we do in hypnotherapy, just take them back to the beginning. Very powerful. So let's talk about the breakthrough. What helped you break free, or what have you seen make the biggest difference for your clients, the clients you serve?
Well, the biggest breakthrough is when the clients are able to understand that there is actually this systemic point of view. So that that there are certain dynamics that are happening, and that they can see that and unblock the things. And the method I'm using is constellations. I will very quickly describe what the constellation is. So the constellation for a person is that we are getting together and the client selects representatives from the people from the audience, and someone will represent his mother, someone will represent him or her, and someone will represent the father, and so on. Of course, in the interview about the topic, what is this all about, we will decide which roles we will set up, and then we are letting representatives be in the middle of the room where we are all around. And the representatives are actually connecting with the energetic field of the client. And then it is phenomenological, actually, method when the representatives are starting to sense and to behave energetically like the person that they are presenting. And then what me as a facilitator with a client that usually sits behind me, we are actually looking what's going on, and we see in those family constellation where the flow is going okay and where the flow is blocked. And of course, there are certain interventions that we can do to allow that those energy flows, or we can also say that the flow of love can circulate and that things can be as authentically they should be within the family system.
Can you share some more examples?
Yeah, of course. I need to say first that within this family system, there are three very important principles. And if we are following those principles, then in our system, things are going okay. And those three principles are that everyone has the right to belong. So everyone belongs to the family. The second is that there is the order in the family. So the grandparents were first, then there were our parents, and then came we. So the third principle is that there need to be the balance between giving and receiving in any relationship. And I will talk about the examples according to those three very important principles. For example, one of my clients was feeling like he's not belonging fully to his family. It was his own opinion that he is not belonging, that only his brother is the one who belongs. And he was a successful man with a lot of achievements, but he didn't feel it inside. He was really feeling like the outsider. And then in the constellation, he was able to see that he has really the rightful place within that family. He was able to see how much their parents are loving him, not just his brother, but also him. And that was the beginning of his transformation. And he was able to see what is on the energetical level really happening. And second example is about this principle of order. One of my clients was really fully over responsible. And when she came to me, she came because she said that she cannot relax at all, that she needs to be strong, she needs to be prepared. And okay, we tried with the constellation to see what's happening. And we find out that in their family, she replaced the roles with her mother. She was a caretaker of her mother from the very early childhood. And she was the big one, and the mother was the small one. And that is the violation of order. And because we have the violation of order within the system, then there are the consequences. So she cannot relax, she's taking over responsibility. She feels that she always needs to be strong. Yes, because she's on the wrong place. She's not the mother of her mother. It's that position is too big for her. So she's struggling. And she was really able within the constellation to get rid of that over responsibility, to return that responsibility to the field, to where it belongs, and to take just what belongs to her. And the third example I will give is about this balance of giving and taking. I need just to say before that that in all relationships, we are going to feel okay if we feel that there is the fair balance of giving and taking. But the only exception here is the relationship parent and the child, because parent is the one that is giving and the child is receiving, and then the child is giving back to its own child. So there is no need, and it is also impossible to expect that the child will give back to the parent as much as the parent was giving to the child. It's practically impossible because our parents gave us life. And that is so big that we will never be equal with them in that. But the family system is such that the purpose of it to gives life further so that the love The life and the love and the energy are going from generation to generation. So we are receiving, but then we are giving further. And here in this giving and taking example was of one lady that was fully overgiving. She was really sharing with everyone everything, totally overgiving, not taking care about anything that she earned. She was giving that, but she had huge issues with receiving. She was not able to receive any help, any compliment. It was hard for her. Giving for her was easy. She was overgiver, but receiving was problematic. And in the constellation, because we never know what we will find out in the constellation and what the story is behind, we found out that actually the mother of her mother, so her grandmother, was a very specific lady that was just grabbing, collecting from the whole village and holding for herself. So actually, it was the systemic way of balancing giving and taking, unfortunately, within the system that usually goes to the children, to those that are the youngest. So, because her grandmother was taking from the village, holding for herself, today she is then giving too much to compensate within that system, some sort of that. But when we saw such things in the constellation, then we are actually able to see what's happening, to acknowledge that and to accept as that is. And even that acceptance is already one step toward the easier and more nicer life later. And of course, with some interventions, we can do things that we can release if we have a lot of responsibility, a lot of pain that is not ours, a lot of guilt in the system that are we are getting, but maybe it's not fully our individual, but it's coming from somewhere in the system. And yes, after those interventions, we usually feel lighter and better. And we cannot change the past, but with those interventions, we can change how we relate with the things that are there. And for me personally, I would just share that as a one last example. I didn't have the best relationship with my mother. She was emotionally distant in my childhood. And for years, our relationship was a bit strange and distant until, of course, I got my own child, and then I started to work on myself, and then I started to realize a lot of things that I need to heal. But interesting thing is that I was working on the healing of my relationship with my mother for a lot longer period of time already when I was in one constellation, putting that relationship to see what's happening. And it really helped me to see what was happening in my mother's family. And then I've just got the insights that she really gave me the maximum that she was able to give at that moment. And usually, for the majority of people, although we are not satisfied with what we got from our parents, that was the best that they could do in those circumstances with the level of knowledge that they have, with the level of material things that they have, with their level of their emotional, mental, spiritual awareness and consciousness that they had. And also, usually, that's the saying in the systemic work also that those who were traumatized are usually those that are traumatizing other people. So if they were not able to learn how to love, then they were not, because they didn't receive, then they were, it was also very hard for them to give. Yeah.
Yes. If someone's listening, if someone listening could only do one thing today to start
Mhm.
shifting their life, what would it be?
Well, hmm. Start shift your life. I think that first you just need to see, maybe to ask yourself, are you holding too much? Are you maybe taking too much responsibility or too much guilt or too much pain from your family system? Because even when you just start to ask yourself that question, then some door can be open, of course. And another thing which I would like that we do that can really help today someone, I think all of us, is one visualization. It will be short. We need just 3 to 4 minutes for it. So I will now guide you through that visualization exercise. And you, Jerry, can also enjoy this exercise. You will go nowhere. It is safe. Nothing bad can happen. You will just sit comfortably and, if you want, close your eyes and breathe in and breathe out and just relax. And you can also think about your energy level in this very moment. Let's say that we have the scale from 1 to 10, and just pick one number. That how do you feel? And you can have it for yourself, but just have one number. And now you are starting to imagining your family system that we will put behind you. So first, imagine how your mother is standing behind you on your left side. And immediately near her is your father, also standing behind you on your right side. They are standing behind you on the first line. And then there is the second line that is behind them. There you are putting your grandparents on both sides. And again, your grandmother is standing on the left side behind your mother, and grandfather on the right side of your mother, and the same for father. So now we have 4 grandparents on the second line. And we are going further. On the third line, we will have 8 great grandparents. Maybe you do not even know who they were because you never met them. Maybe you do not know even their names, but it's okay. Just put them there because they are your great grandparents. We are moving slowly to the fourth line. You are putting there 16 of your ancestors. Yes, we don't know their names. Yes, we never meet them, but they are part of our family system. And then on the fifth line, we are putting 32. And on the sixth line, 64 of our ancestors. And on the seventh line, 128. We could even go further, but for today's exercise, we will stop here. You are now feeling how it is to have 254 souls behind you. Without any of them, today there would be no you. So feel their presence, feel their strength, feel how you are never alone because your family system is always with you. And you can feel how the flow of life is coming from that seventh line to the sixth, and from the sixth to the fifth, and from the fifth to the fourth, and from the fourth to the third, and from the third to the second, and from the second to the first line where your parents are. And from them, are you allowing yourself to receive that life, that love, and that energy? You can lean on all of them because they carried life to you. And now you can, before opening your eyes, again think about your energy level on the scale of 1 to 10 and see if that number shifted. If your family system was giving you energy or your family system was draining you with the energy. So that's also the very good insight for your own investigation work later. And you can open your eyes knowing that your family system will be always behind you, even if you are aware of it or not. And it is always giving you life, energy, and love.
Mm.
How it was?
Oh, that was beautiful.
Okay.
It, I could see the ones I knew, right?
Yes.
And I know a little bit about my family and where it came from and the struggles that they, you know, but just was so empowering for me anyway to have all those souls um, that gave me life.
Yes. And
Uh,
if each of them would be missing, then we would not be here today.
and that really covers the bigger vision. It really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Yes. And this
Wow.
is really the bigger vision, what is possible, for the people. I really would like that people start to think about that systemic part, thinking not about myself as one individual, but about us as the part of our family systems and how everything didn't start with us. So that we really can do well. Constellations is the method that I know and that I use, but there are some other also ways how you can heal your relationships with your family system for sure. But it's really important that you are doing things there because then you feel lighter, you feel more free, more alive. What is happening after such work when all those entanglements that we are having in ourselves because we are part of the system, and if something is there, then it's also in us. And when we do some healing, some releasing of some blocks, then naturally energy is coming, new energy is coming finally into our relationships, into our work, and we really can then live our life meaningfully. Yeah.
You said something earlier about they did the best they could with what they had to work with. It was pretty much like that. And what
Yeah.
that did was it released the blame
Yeah.
and the victimization, in that moment. That's what I felt that, you know, because sometimes we feel victimized by our parents or.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm fully with you. And I also felt quite some years like that, that my mother was actually, oh, one huge person who was, and I was her victim. But within the constellation, I was actually looking that I wasn't her victim. She was the victim of her family system, if we are still speaking about that. But who is um, really guilty and who started it? And in each systems, because I'm really now this investigating this family systems and also organizational systems. In each family system, we have victims and we have those that are what's the English word? opposite of the victim, perpetrators.
Creator,
Yeah.
perpetrator. Yeah, we're all
Yes.
on the same note
Yes.
here.
Yeah. And we have both usually in majority of our systems. So that energy is present. And yes, it really helps if we stop judging, if we stop blaming, because we are not so big that we can judge or blame. What do we know about really the soul of that person that we are judging and the life of that person and all the circumstances and everything? We are too small. We can
Hmm.
not have all those informations, but we can work really on this big picture of healing what's happening within our family system because things that we are uh, once seeing, accepting, finding the other ways how energy can flow, then are easier for our children and our grandchildren. Then they will not have such issues like you and I had. Your son and my daughter, they do not have the issue with the mother that was distant and problematic and
Right.
that victimized them. Well, they have some other maybe that we didn't uh, still heal or worked on them. But with each generation, that baggage that we are going from generation to generation is lower. Yeah, it's lower.
Wow. Wow. What a powerful conversation. What a powerful conversation. Is there anything else on your heart that you'd like to share?
Well, I think that we shared really the most of it. I don't know if you would like that we talk about gifts now, or you will do that.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can do that. So
okay.
go ahead.
Because we agreed that there will be gifts for all the summit participants. I prepared the personal energy quiz for all the summit participants, where they can, with that quiz, get some sort of insights into their physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual energy levels, as well as also some tips how to strengthen each of those energies, because our energy is really the first one, the biggest foundation for anything that we want to move. And for VIP participants, there's the recording of webinar. The name of the webinar is From Stuck to Aligned. There are 3 sessions. The first one is about energy, the second about the systems, and the third about action. And with this recording is also coming the workbook that is for the reflections that are happening during this webinar. And this is really good starting point for those who want to align deeply with themselves. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming and being a part of this summit. And what a beautiful contribution you made today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jerry, very much for hosting me and for organizing everything. Thank you.
Thank you.